All right, time for my game. This should be fun. I want to go through the top 15 teams in college basketball. I want to be pretty quick with this. And I want us both to give one thing we have learned about each team in the first week of the season. So let's be pretty quick, rapid fire style. We can go back and forth. We can ask some questions, but we're just going through the top 15 teams on KenPom. Do you want to start at the bottom or do you want to start at the top?
Top.
Okay. So that means Purdue, the number one team in the country. What is one thing you have learned about Purdue in the first week of the season?
Braden Smith is what we thought he was going to be.
That's mine as well. Braden Smith has arrived. He's just great. I think he's like a top 6-7 player in the Big Ten, and he might go under the radar despite that, but he's special, and that's the step forward we were looking for Purdue to take the step forward that we want to see. Great. I love this game. We might just be aligned the entire time. That's fun. Team number 2, Houston. What is one thing you've learned about Houston since the season started?
Is it allowed to say I haven't learned anything about Houston yet?
Yeah, you have to, for the game, you have to learn something.
I have to learn something. Okay. One thing I learned about Houston is that Kelvin Sampson is a very, very smart coach for scheduling his non-conference schedule the way he did with the transition into the Big 12 for them. I think he did a good job because he traditionally does a pretty good job of challenging himself in the non-conference because he was in the American. I think he flip-flopped that this year, and I think that's smart. So if I had to pick one thing, I think I'd pick that.
Okay. I've learned that I don't know how I feel about Jamal Shead. That's me kind of ducking the question, I guess, because I'm saying I've learned something I don't know. But I came into the season thinking Jamal Shead was like a guaranteed superstar. All the offseason hype and buzz was that Shead took a huge step forward. You're going to see a new version of him. And he's been really mediocre. He had 5 points, 2 points, and 5 points in their 3 games thus far. They brought in other good guards. But to me, if Houston's going to be really good, Jamal Shead should honestly be the best guard on that team. And right now, doesn't look close to that. To the number 3 team, what have you learned about Kansas?
I learned that Kevin McCullough is going to step up in that wing position that Kansas has had over this past couple seasons. I think it still remains to be seen what it's going to be, but he's going to be that main wing high usage guy. I think he can do it.
Yeah, Kevin McCullough is really good. That's what I've learned.
Yeah.
And I think it's a product of the program. Like, they just keep doing this with wings. Guys who were like good fourth options become great first or second options immediately when they need to. Kind of crazy.
Yeah. If I'm a wing, I'm going to Michigan or Kansas right now.
Yeah, it's special stuff. Shout out Jalen Wilson. That was a tough decision for him. What have you learned about UConn?
I learned that they had the best front court in the country.
Whoa. That's interesting.
I think that Donovan Clingan and Alex Caravan are the best front court in the country. And I just think that one, Clingan is good. But also Caravan just fits with Clingan great. Like, Caravan has the size, he can shoot, he rebounds, like he does everything that complements what Clingan is. And he's also just good in his own right. So I would say that they either have the best front court, or I'd go with the addition of Cam Spencer cannot be forgotten. Like, he hit 8 threes the other night.
Yeah, that's really nice. My answer went with your first answer. Alex Caravan's really good. He was inconsistent last year. He was obviously like good for a freshman, but he would have like a 15-point game, a 10-point game, a 2-point game, and just like alternate in that cycle all season long. This year, 22 points, 15 points, 14 points. He has missed 1 shot from inside the 3-point range on the season. He's 12 for 13 from the floor on non-3-pointers. He's making free throws. He's rebounding. He's got blocks. He's got steals. I just really like the kid. I think he's really, really good. And he's kind of the unsung hero of that team, in my opinion, that is absolutely one of the top 5 teams in the country. What have you learned about Alabama?
I learned that the backcourt's legit. I think the backcourt of Sears and Estrada is legit. I had some concerns about it. I think that's a really good, legit backcourt.
Okay. I learned that Grant Nelson is really good at dominating bad teams.
Is that because he hasn't played a good team yet?
I don't know. That I need to still learn. But for right now, I learned that Grant Nelson is still really, really good at that. He was crushing his first 2 games of the season. Next up, we move to number 6. It's the Arizona Wildcats. What have you learned about Arizona?
I learned that Keyshawn Johnson is really damn good.
That's mine too. He's so good.
Yeah, he's so good. If I'm a San Diego State fan, I'm sick that he left. I know they're saying like the whole like we got Jadion Lee now to like losing Keyshawn Johnson's tough, but what a blessing for Arizona to get him.
I have this theory with him and the way he's going to affect Caleb Love that like I haven't figured out the best way to verbalize it yet, but it kind of reminds me of like someone that you know or some friend you have. His personality totally changes when he makes friends with a different friend group. You ever like, you know what I'm talking about? Like a guy who, like that's like the nerdy kid. He's like, this stupid little nerd. And then all of a sudden he's just like becomes friends with like the jock and like starts dressing cool. That's what I feel like is happening with Caleb Love right now. And it's just like Keyshawn Johnson got in the room and like grabbed him by his neck and was like, you're a tough MFer. And Caleb Love was like, oh yeah, shit, I am. And now here we are and the whole team's vibing. I really like it. I think Kashad's massively important and he's really good. Number 7, what have you learned about Gonzaga thus far?
I learned that Braden Huff is good against bad teams. I'm interested to see what he looks like against the Maui opponents.
Okay. Maui's going to be so fun. I can't wait for that next week.
You're going to learn a lot about it too.
My answer is that I think we have learned that the West Coast Conference still runs through Gonzaga. It's more about St. Mary's, but people were writing off Gonzaga, and you and I even did. We don't love Gonzaga, but we called it out. Like, doesn't it kind of feel like a year where a few would go under the radar and something good would happen? Well, yeah, this conference still runs through them for sure. What have we learned about Tennessee, and why is it that Dalton Connect is nasty?
That's what it is. I learned that Dalton Connect is nasty, and I learned that they are going to win the award for both sides win in the transfer portal. Like the breakup worked for both. The breakup was good for both parties, and it's working out
for Dalton Connect.
It's a reach, but Dalton Connect coming in, they lose Olivier Nkamhoua. He's playing really well at Michigan, but Dalton Connect is doing really well for Tennessee. So it's not like a like for like change, but it's like both teams just they got better by it. Yeah,
it's the win-win situation. I'm okay with that. Mine is just I think Dalton Connect's a top 10 player in the country. That's where I'm at. I tweeted that it was top 5. Right now I think it's top 10. I know that's a little divisive in real basketball circles, but I think he's that good. I think he's just like a dude. He reminds me stylistically, they do different things, but when I watch him, I see the Franz Wagner I wish I got at Michigan. That's what I see from Connect right now. Like, just he's a jumbo wing who's like 6'10", but should be 6'5", and is so smooth and can dunk everything. And he doesn't guard at all. And Franz was an elite defender. So I'm not saying like that, but Connect, I just see Connect do shit offensively that I was always like, Franz should be doing this. And Dalton's just doing it all. And it's really, really impressive stuff to me. Number 9, what have we learned about Marquette?
Tyler Kolek is amazing.
He crushed Illinois. And then he didn't even do the end game stuff, though. Like, he was perfect all game. And then when it was clutch time, it was all the other dudes on Marquette.
Yeah, so Tyler Kolek is amazing. And Marquette is the hype that Michigan State was getting for returning guys. Too much of that went to Michigan State. Not enough of that went to Marquette. At least this might be more of a personal thing because I feel like other people did it, but Marquette's really damn good.
Yeah, they're just really good. That's my answer. And you can apply that with Kolek, but I think this Marquette team does not deserve any of the skepticism. I think they are a top 5 team in the country. That's my answer.
Yes.
What have we learned? They're a top 5 team in the country. What have we learned about Baylor?
Mm. I learned that it's cheating, but I learned that Jacoby Walter is a top 3 pick.
Oh, top 3.
Jacoby Walter is a top 3 pick, and I think he'll have an argument for being the first pick.
Wow. Okay. I like that.
Like I'm seeing draft boards with Justin Edwards and Ron Holland, and like I'm actually a Ron Holland fan. I would take Jacoby Walter over both those guys right now.
Okay. I think we've learned already that this is the weakest Baylor team in the Scott Drew like superhuman era. Going back to when they won the national title. I know
Was still good or no?
that I haven't learned yet, but I can say definitively I think this year's team is worse than last year's team, and it's worse than every other team in the Scott Drew era. I know Ray J had one really good game. Ray J is 2 for 8 from 3 on the season right now. He had 7 turnovers in a game. I don't know. He's like super high usage, and I still don't all the way. Like I think he's the weakest ball dominant Baylor guard we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to watch them. I'm curious to see more. What have we learned about Creighton? We have 5 teams left. What have we learned about our Creighton?
I think we might have jumped the gun on Ashworth a little bit, but at the same time, I don't think it matters.
What do you mean there?
Because I think that Trey Alexander is that good.
Oh wow. Okay, that fits mine. Trey Alexander is the best player on the team.
I think that okay, actually here's my point in actual what I wanted to relay. It was also, can Ashworth be better than Nebhard, or is Nebhard better than Ashworth? All it is that because you don't have Nebhard now, you have Trey Alexander being the guy at the guard position, and that's great for Creighton because he's that guy.
Yeah, my answer is just Trey Alexander's the best player on this team, and Kalk's the same dude he was last year, for the record. But that should be notable. The Trey Alexander's now like past him. That means something. I think he's probably a first team All-American, and I know everybody's talking about Hunter right now. I think if you're betting a National Player of the Year, the better bet is Trey Alexander than it is Hunter right now. And I think there's really, really good value on that. 4 more. What have we learned about Duke? Can I say it while you wait on it? Can I say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
We've learned that Duke is soft.
We have learned that Duke is soft.
That's my answer. This team is soft.
Yeah, I like that. They are.
They're talented as hell, but they're going to win a lot of games just because they are more talented than teams they play, and they get a lot of calls. But Flip plays for foul calls. Proctor is one of the biggest floppers I've ever seen. They have enough talent in the backcourt that they can withstand one of their guards just no-showing, which has happened every game thus far, by the way. A different guard totally no-shows every single game. In the Champions Classic, it was McCain. This is a team that plays Ryan Young a bunch of minutes and actually has Ryan Young like being their best center right now. Says all you need to know. Good team, very soft basketball team. And when they play a team that's not afraid to hit them in the mouth, that is mentally all the way there, unlike Michigan State, they're going to lose a lot of games the way Arizona beat them.
Yeah. I mean, we saw that how they went out last year. Tennessee beat them, punched them in the mouth.
Yeah. Yep. And I don't think this has anything to do with like Shire and his program. I think it's just these players. Like I think a Flip and Proctor group is always going to be a little bit soft, as good as those guys are.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. All right, 13th, Texas A&M. What have we learned about the Aggies?
Ooh. We learned that, we didn't learn this, but Wade Taylor deserved all the offseason hype that he got.
Yeah.
And those guys check like hell too.
Yeah. I think we did learn that, for the record. That's where I'm at. I didn't expect Wade Taylor to go on the road and just destroy Ohio State the way he did. So I'm taking Texas A&M more serious now because Wade Taylor is actually that good. That's what I've learned. 2 teams left. Kentucky. What have we learned about Kentucky?
We learned that they have good enough guards that at their best they can win the SEC.
Not national championship, just the SEC.
I think I made a hot take that Kentucky was going to make a Final Four on our little Bleacher Report stream. And I'm feeling good about that still.
Okay. I like that. I guess I'll go the negative route on it then. I think we've learned this team needs a big man. And not like a do-it-all big man. They just need a body that they can play at center. They don't have one right now.
Yeah, just a body.
They might get one though. Like they're supposed to get one. They just don't have one right now. Last but not least, what have we learned about Arkansas?
We learned that Devo Davis actually might be an issue for this team. I know you say March Davis and March Devo. He has not played well at all up until this point of the season, and I think it's hurting them. And they've been in some close games.
They have been in some close games. It's kind of a little bit crazy when you actually look through what's happened. I guess I'll double down on you with Devo. I don't feel like I have learned anything else about Arkansas. I'm still kind of I need to learn more about Arkansas from where I'm at on the season right now. Like everybody's been okay. Everybody's been all right. I don't have any like scorching hot, good or bad takes on Arkansas. They're good. They're winning their games. They're taking care of business. But Devo is the one that's like, I starred that in my notebook and what's wrong right now. But I still, even that doesn't feel like something I learned. It's just like, what? What just happened? What are you celebrating?
The biggest loser of the Champions Classic in college basketball in general is point guards that use the notepad emoji.
Okay. It's a great way to end the segment. Thank you for that.